Welcome to the Incredible Machines podcast, where we sit down with incredible people doing incredible things. Today we sit down with Mzokhona Gumede, a radio DJ whose journey starts in the sugarcane farms of KZN and passes through collaborating and creating one of the largest radio morning shows in the country. We talk about overcoming adversity and following your dreams, the evolving world of radio and building real community, family, mentorship, and the importance of supporting others along the way. So settle in as we dive deep in an episode full of energy, insight, and practical lessons for someone who's lived his dream. Let's dive in with the incredible Mzokhona Gumede. So where did it start for you?
For me, so I grew up in the farms. Kingindlovu, I don't know if you guys know that place. Is next to a shower on your way to Mpangeni.
Yeah.
So, so my dad was polygamous. He had 2 wives by the time he met my mom. So there's also, my name actually explains that. It's Mzokhona, which means, yes, the house exists. Because the other wives were starting to think, this man has a house somewhere. He's disappearing a lot. And then he gave me the name Mzokhona, which means, yes, there is a house that exists. I have kids somewhere else.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
so
really
interesting.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. And so it obviously, like for everyone else, life wasn't as easy. I think he was doing well at the time when he met my mom. He was like charming. He was doing well. He had his own business. He was just a hustler in general. I think he had a tuck shop, but that was doing well. Had a hair. He was into cutting people's hair. He was just doing everything. And his dad was a fashion designer. So he was working close with his dad. So they were doing well as a team. But when his dad passed on, he kind of blew it all. And then we started facing challenges. Like by the time I was born, things were not going well. But he had found us a place. He never got married with my mom. So he had found us a place, like we have a farm at home, like a farm area that he got us. My mom started like trying to put a house together. He disappeared for years. He only came back when I was like around 1989, when I was maybe 12 or something, and he had come out of jail. He was just something else. Yeah, he had come out of jail, and he came to live with us. And then he turned that place into a sugarcane farm. We were the ones working there, and I was still young. Before we went to school, we'd start and just work at the sugarcane fields, and after school, looking after cattle. Wada. Even people in our neighborhood never wanted to visit us because we were always working 24/7. From 2 a.m. in the morning all the way to like 8 p.m. As his kids, he didn't have money to hire people to work. So he had a lot of kids, 3 wives. So he would, when it's school holidays, the other kids from the other house would come down so that we all work together to start this farm, and it ended up being fine and working out. But I think that's where my dream of becoming a radio DJ also came about. I wanted to be a radio DJ from like 8 years old. Like the first time I was asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? I said, I want to be a radio presenter. So I think working hard at the farms then made me think, there's gotta be something better out there. They kept me focused on realizing my dream and just wishing to get out of that place because it was hard for us. It was a lot of work and not much benefits per se because sugarcane is not that profitable.
Okay.
A small farm, like 14 hectares, unless if you have like thousands of hectares. If it's a small farm, it's just for you to.
And how many siblings?
12 in total.
12 and so
12. Each wife had like 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so remind me of another South African making a name for himself in the States, Elon. Yeah. 12 that we know of.
From my mom, though, there's two of us. My mom was married before he met my dad, so he had 2 Laminis and 2 Gumedes.
Okay.
Yeah, Gumede, which is me and
Yeah.
my sister who's late now.
Okay.
So yeah, I had that. I think it kind of that's my upbringing, the farms. But I always had a vision to come to Durban because I loved radio. So the only thing that kept me going and making sure that I pass is that I want to finish matric and leave and disappear. And my dream was only to be on radio. And finally, when I finished matric 96, 97, I was here. And I started knocking at all these radio stations with demos. I made a demo, dropping it here and there. And then I got a chance at Durban Youth Radio. That's where it started for me.
Durban North Radio.
Durban Youth.
Durban Youth
It
Radio.
was at UKZN.
Yes. Okay.
It was based there.
What is it about radio that you love?
The ability for one person to communicate with us without us seeing them. Like, wow. The fascination, when I looked at radio, I'm like fascinated by the magic. How does this happen? How does a person who's in Durban talk and reach so many people at once? So I wanted to have that. And it was entertaining. It was actually, radio was form of the only entertainment we had. So even when we were working at the sugar cane fields, there would be just a small FM radio. We'd buy a battery, PM9, PM10, to charge up the radio. And throughout the day when we're working there, we'll be listening to radio. Even when I'm looking at, after my dad's cattle, because he also had a few cattle here and there, my companion would be radio. So I fell in love with radio. Like it became my best friends. Because we were not allowed to have friends to visit us. Because they were disturbing the flow. Like, hey, there's no time to chill here. We're working all the time. So the best friend I had was like radio. Like I would listen to all radio stations, languages I don't understand, Portuguese, AM, FM, 24/7. Like I love radio. And I remember that the first fight I ever had with my sister was over which station to listen to when we were young. So my mom was not there, and I changed the frequency, like, because it was on Radio Zulu, and then I moved the dial. And my sister like, I'm going to tell Mom, you're not supposed to touch that radio. And then I kept moving it around, and then I got to hear other stations. I preferred their music more. I knew which program had better music at what time, so I would play around with the radio. And my sister started like getting physical because she was trying to stop me from fiddling with the radio.
Do you think the radio felt like it was an escape into the rest of the world?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because it's like, I could imagine it.
Yeah.
And I know for me, the radio and then podcasting was that for me is I was getting different perspectives in different parts of the world into my world. Was that the same with you?
I think it was the same.
Okay.
Because I had to envision a city. I had never been out of my small town. But in my head, I knew that there was something bigger, bigger buildings, because of what I hear being communicated on radio. So it was more like a theater of mind. So it made me creative more than anything. It made me think beyond, envision what the person is saying and put a picture to it, you know?
Okay.
So I felt good. That kind of power that this person has, I would like to have that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So were you intrigued by the influence of the person?
Yes.
Okay.
So I was intrigued by the influence and yeah.
Awesome.
And entertaining. Like I've always loved arts. I've always wanted to like do music. I've always been drawn to stage plays.
Okay.
Back then, like theater. It's just the opportunities were not there. We were in a place that didn't have such. But reading magazines showed me there's the world is bigger than this you can also reach that level of your favorite presenter. You can be that person too.
Who are your favorite presenters?
Favorite presenters growing up, there was mostly KwaZulu now, Radio Zulu. There was a guy called Kansas City Mkunu. There was a guy called Vivi Omkize. Yeah. I think there was something special with everyone. Yeah. Like on certain days, I would look forward to so and so, and yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a really interesting story about how radio got commercialized. I'm very confident it's and Malcolm Gladwell, I think, tells the story. So I'll try to find it. But it was like it was the radios of they were like an absurd thing to have as a device, because they were so big in the old days. They were massive pieces of equipment, and there weren't many broadcasts. And then I think they broadcast boxing, and they got live commentary for the first time in a boxing match, and people tuned in for that. And then I'm pretty confident it was that it's in the Tipping Point, if I can remember correctly. By Malcolm Gladwell. Are you familiar with Malcolm Gladwell as an author?
No.
Okay. So you started at Durban Youth at UKZN, and I'm going to try to learn a fair bit in this session. One of the things we love about podcasting is that this is really is a learning platform. In the stats that are out at the moment is, I think it's something like in the US, over 66% of all podcast listeners have a tertiary degree or higher, and it's in the 90s now, of listeners to podcasts come back or come to listen to podcasts to get more information, to learn something new. It's not just as edutainment. So it's not just coming to listen to like entertainment. It's actually to gather information, hear perspectives. So you're talking about Trevor Noah earlier, about that education of the different languages and the different things. I've learned so much, and I noticed that my learning has migrated from a lot less reading to actually listening a lot more. And the reading that I've been doing is actually prepping for podcasts when I've got authors on here. So when we have an author, I feel like I have to read their books. No book in you, hey? You don't have a book?
No.
You haven't thought about one yet? No.
No, I have. I've actually written the first half of my life. I think the last time we sat down to write was 6-7 years ago, but I still have the material. I was talking to the lady who was helping me write the other day that, hey, there's a lot that has happened in the past 7 years. I think we can do finish the book. It's just around my life and how I grew up, more like that, yeah.
Yeah, that's a lifeline exercise. It's probably pretty helpful. And then this podcasting we're seeing as a real, the new publishing platform. So 4 books. So you can actually speak your book into life. This episode will be a chapter in a book, potentially, in the Critical Machines Volume 1. Mzokhona Gumede chapter. That's and really getting that, because it's difficult to work out exactly what to write about, but if you just talk it through, you can find the order, and then you figure out. So we've got a methodology that we use is aggregate. So figuring out whether it's like hashtags are used to aggregate things. So whatever topic it is, you aggregate information about that. So if it's your life, you're aggregating about that. Then you curate. So you work out which are the most important bits, which are the most valuable nuggets and stuff like that. So aggregate, curate, then collate. So give it order. So give that bit order, and that's the lifeline really helps with the order. So you can go with the most important bits, but in order really helps people understand. Okay. And then once you've collate it, then you disseminate, so then you publish, and then you get it out there.
I'd imagine it's very similar to writing a book. I've never written a book. But
No.
it'll be this, you just write stories and things you remember, and then you'll go back and say, okay, what's the timeline, or what's the level of importance according to what we're trying to publish here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Where do you start? That's the thing, is where do you start?
Yeah.
Not everyone's Tarantino.
Yeah.
Can't start and work backwards and go back in time. So with the end in mind, yeah. But there's also that, I love that. So we had Pepe Mare from Joe Public on here, and he loves equations, and I sent him this, after this episode, I sent him this snippet, and I think it's like a Jordan Peterson snippet, but he talks about neurosis and how he's worked with people on understanding their past in order to be less neurotic now. So less anxious and better all around is understanding your past and having, because if you don't understand, it seems like something I should have known sooner, but I've never claimed to be the quickest one in the uptake. If you don't understand what's happened to you in the past, if you haven't processed that, then it sits on your shoulders. And then when you don't understand something, you're trying to figure it out, it's always there. It could happen again.
Yeah.
So you're always looking, could it happen again? And once you've understood it, and then you've reconciled that, then it's at an equilibrium, then it's not sitting on you anymore. And then you're actually less anxious. So those exercises of doing a book, you find people that just do that exercise actually just feel, they understand, they're more comfortable. They're just like, I can breathe now.
Yeah.
Because I don't have all this weight. Like you've got you said your father, I saw in your notes, the first thing you said, the polygamist. And so it is a big thing for you that you are of the third family. And you, I heard you say he didn't marry your mom.
Yeah. Of course, it was a big thing. I do believe that, actually, with too much shared resources that could have focused in one family, I think it was very self-serving kind of thing. I don't see the purpose in it other than the fact that I was born, which is great. But in terms of being there as a father and what it means to me now that I'm a father, just being there for your kids every day and sharing the load with your wife, it makes the journey easier, and your kids get to experience life differently with all the support that they need. Like everyone needs support, and it wastes a lot of time and brings a lot of self-doubt if you didn't get it when you were young. It comes up again later in your life where you're like, why do I always feel like this? And then you realize, no, it's because no one gave you assurance that you're okay. No one said, yes, you will become the radio broadcaster. Whenever I brought that up at home, they would laugh and say, this guy's crazy. That will never happen. Like when? How? Just go and try and be a security guard here. Stop wasting our time,
And
For real, from your own family.
And was any part of it like to prove them wrong? Do you ever have that?
No, I just maybe internalized it. I just knew what I wanted and what I was capable of. Even though I was deemed as crazy because I liked to make people laugh. I found my corner. I think mostly at school, I'll be more myself at school than at home. Because at school, everyone will gather around me and listen to my stories, laugh at my jokes. We're all equal. We all came from almost similar backgrounds, by the way, in my area, It wasn't that we are the only ones that are everyone had it was a way of living. We lived through farming and stuff. But at our home, it was just a bit extreme.
And are you still put in the box or the similar box? Do you feel that when you go home now, you interact with family? Like it's sometimes difficult for family to see you any differently than like you were when you were with them. Yeah.
No, actually, I think my family, when I eventually ended up doing what I always said I would do, my mom mostly, She was out of words, like all the time, like, "Shush, this guy really did this, on his own." Because when I came to Durban, I also didn't have money. I wasn't studying at UKZN when I was working at Durban Youth Radio. I was squatting there. I didn't have a place to stay, but it was better to be there than to go back at home. There was nothing for me. I had stepped into the radio station. I had felt what it was like. I had found my new community, the guys who worked at Durban Youth Radio. Whenever I compared, because my mother used to call me all the time, how are you surviving? What are you eating? I just made it through. It's only when I look back that I say, whew, yeah, okay. I kind of suffered a bit. But when it was happening, I was happy to be there with other guys. We were all similar. And we were all chasing our dreams. We were all like 17, 19. We enjoyed our freedom. It didn't matter where we slept. And no one could see us in the morning that, hey, this guy doesn't have a place to stay or something. We were all equal. So when I go on radio and do my show, no one will know, hey, he hasn't eaten for the past 18 hours, 20 hours or so,
Wow.
It was, it changed my perspective in life. Where, you know how it is, John, where you can, hey, like a true meaning of self-made, where you can get your first 1,000 from your hustle. Second, to now being able to move out of that office you were squatting in to find an accommodation where you can share with other people. Now it's another level. You achieve this on your own through your vision and believing that it will happen. So once you get a little success here, you don't want to go back. You're thinking bigger things again. You're thinking, hey, I need to get now a better paying radio station because Durban Youth Radio was voluntary. We were volunteering. So I need now to get a job. I need to get to SABC. You pester them with demos. They know you. They see you all the time here trying to hustle to get in until you get in. And then again, once you get in, better pay, your brand is growing, you're getting bookings, you're getting gigs, first car, life is getting better. And then you take care of home now. So that's why my mother was always proud of me. This guy is really, really had a vision and is living his dream.
And how long did it take you to get that? Just for the first section, to get you out of the squatting in the station? How long?
That was the first year. We really squatted. I think it took me a year, 3 months, almost 1.5 years.
And then you moved into
and then I was lucky. I got I won some competition, Coca-Cola competition, as the best radio presenter, and it had a fee. I think it was $3,000, but it opened doors for them to use me for their school promotions. So I was emceeing some of their activations.
Okay, and you just adding that to your CV.
And I was Coca-Cola was actually API. They were paying me just a fee for doing these activations at school. Back then, before the internet, so the best way was to always go to people.
Yeah.
So I would do those, and then next thing, hey, there's a national campaign for Sunsilk. We need a guy who can do this and that, and then I started moving. Things just somehow kept coming together for me to the level where, I got to like Gagas. I think Gagas was a big one for me. Gagas FM, where I ended up doing their breakfast. We broke records, had the biggest show, show on commercial radio in South Africa. In a very short space of time, took that show from 700,000 listeners when I took it to 1.1 million, and that's within a year.
Within a year?
Yeah.
You almost doubled it in a year.
Yeah, so that actually changed my life because I started doing everything for everyone. like appearances. My fee went up. So I was able to buy a house, cars, got married. Yeah.
So how do you? I'm just intrigued now. How do you measure? So 2 questions. How do you measure listeners on radio? Because you don't necessarily. It's not like a view on the internet.
Yeah, there is one company that does it for all of us. So we believe what they give us. So
Okay.
there's a radio measurement survey that they do, and it gets to tell you who they. I think they get diaries out and research whatever, and then those numbers we get. That's what we're working with. The whole
They use census detail and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Okay,
So you
yeah.
used to have LSMs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just intrigued how it would work because it's not like a metric. It's not like you've got a hit on an IP address or something. And then how, in your experience, what have been some of your, like, what's worked really well for you in terms of building community on radio? Being faceless to a degree and not being in the same room and spread across the country.
Actually, what happened when I started at Gagasi, they were also starting out. It was a brand new station. That's 2005. When it started, I was one of the first DJs. I was doing a weekend show. So what I did to grow my brand while there is that I visited every area every area without the station putting together a promotion that we're all going there. So I would connect with the clubs in different areas and introduce myself. Hey, Mzokhona, I DJ or I MC. Can I visit? Started at a lower rate. But what happened that all the areas got to know me before they saw anyone from the station because I went first. Just I knew that I had this big brand that I'm working for. They have their own protocol. Currently, we don't have a marketing manager. What? And then I decided, would say, this is my own brand. Let me take care of it. I have a good brand backing me that I can leverage on and tell people, hey, I work for the station. Let's see. And then, we started filling up places. I started becoming the guy to book if you want to fill up your venue.
Sure.
And it worked out for me.
That's
I don't know
awesome.
if I'm answering.
Very proactive.
So it's like it's getting out. It's not just staying behind the mic. It's going out and doing events, doing playing music, DJing,
MCing.
Be available.
Be available for paying gigs, for free gigs, anything.
Have you found that's changed in the internet world where it's like, do you find people are doing less proactively going out and just staying behind the camera, or how's it shifted for you?
For me, I think it complements each other because social media, I come into your space. When you turn on the phone, you see me. And I also still do gigs like every weekend. I'm here, there. But social media is very important for you to be active there because that's where people are, and you get to be known by people who even outside of KZN.
Yeah.
You become a national brand, international brand even.
Okay.
Just by using your social media. I saw when I started being active on social media, I started seeing more younger people recognizing me. People started recognizing me at the malls. People that I was not even expecting that would have not known me. People that had never listened to me on radio. So it's a different market in a way.
Demographic.
Different demographic. So you find other people who just only doing social media, who only know you from that side. And then there are people who say, hey, I was listening to you this afternoon. Yeah.
Awesome.
And there's people who do both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the internet has changed the game for you a lot.
It has changed the game. It has changed the game. I think like for radio, the competition is even higher now. Radio is even competing with Spotify, even for revenue. Companies are putting money even on Spotify now. because wherever you can get people's attention, that's where you put your money. So it's important to be on all platforms. There are gigs that I get just because I'm on social media, endorsements and whatever. So when I get an inquiry to do something, I also put social media as a added value.
Okay.
That, hey, I'll post your video. And I find that people want social media more sometimes.
Yeah.
And say, hey, we saw you on social. Please help me push, bro. Like, help me push. Let's do something.
Yeah.
It's shifting.
Broadens your reach, I guess, that's for sure. Just going back to those early days and that morning show, I didn't know those numbers are very impressive, that you almost doubled that within a year, you said. Was that the I love the mornings?
Yeah, I love mornings.
I love mornings. Okay, so what is significant? What's remarkable about that show? Why did it do that?
So when I was given a chance to do breakfast show, I had been with the station from when it started, 2005. So I was a big fan of the host who was doing breakfast. So I knew their strengths and sort of weaknesses. So I knew that, hey, if I was to go in, I would probably keep this and do that. And again, also the visibility. So when I went in, I formulated a new template, for lack of a better word. So I changed all the features. Sometimes the feature that was there, I'll put it there because I think the type of people who would be interested in it are actually early risers. Maybe let's put it at 6:15 instead of having it at 8:15. So I swapped things around and then brought in the new. And what also worked is that people were familiar with me. So I wasn't new to the market. People were familiar with me from Durban Youth Radio days, Highway FM. They were familiar with me from within the station, which was Kakasi. So it wasn't a difficult switch over with who's this guy, So immediately, as soon as I went in, people embraced me, and the younger crowd came in to check me out. And the timing as well, the station was putting in new transmitters all across, bigger coverage, also expanding their coverage. And I did the same thing. I went first to all these places. Whenever I heard that there's a new transmitter in Ulundi, I'll go to Ulundi. So that weekend, as soon as the transmitter is on, I'm in Ulundi, I'm by myself, I'm doing my own activation, saying, listen to my show tomorrow.
Quickly, I love that. That's incredible. But tell me what does that look like practically? So how do you go there and just...
Practically, I call hotspots like big venues. Like every township has a hotspot, like a Shisanyama, that is like the biggest. Okay. So I just make a call and say, hey guys, Mzokhona here, I'm from Kakasi, and everybody's excited to hear about someone from there. And, hey, I'm available this weekend. Can we arrange something for me to come through and just meet the people, introduce myself? Can you cover my transportation? There's a fee to it, obviously.
Okay.
And then people negotiate. Hey, no, I'm like, yeah, and then okay, next time or whatever. But it would end up happening. Like most of the time, like I usually laugh and say, there's nothing that I do that I had not like saw in my head happening.
Yeah.
Everything that's happening is because I envisioned it happening. I saw it happening. I saw it happen before it happens. So like whenever I think I get an idea, I know that it will happen some way or the other.
Based on what? On like a feeling? Or?
I think, it's a feeling because like all my life is based on that. There's nothing that I was sure of. It was just a dream. Like, I want to be a radio presenter. I want to leave this place. I want to find a new place to stay. I want a better job. I want to work for Kakas. I want to work for Ukhozi. All those things have happened. Because after Kakas, I went to Ukhozi, which is the national radio station, where we were doing the 7 million people. It's only 3 years back that I left. and then now with Vuma again. I prefer regional radio station because it's more focused on a certain demographic. It's clear with it's targeting, you know. But with the Ukoze, it was just wide, you're targeting everyone. And also, I had some challenges there that are not important.
Another
I
story.
left. I wasn't comfortable with the place. It wasn't me.
Okay. So that's takes me into how do you know? Because you, from what I understand, you said you were always going to be a DJ. That's your vision. But then somehow you knew that it was the right thing to do to go to the area where the new transmitter was. Like you were the only one. There was no one. Who told you to do that?
It just came.
Just made sense to do.
It just
that.
made sense to me to do that. And yeah, it was an opportunity for me to also make money because I charge for my appearances. But I knew that if I also believe in friendships, and I value friendships a lot because most of the things come from making friendships with people, like meeting people and just spending some time with them. And then they get to know what you do. And I'm only a taker, I'm only not a taker from people. I also remember you when your thing, the thing that you can do, comes up and say, hey, I think this will be a great opportunity for you. So when I meet with people, I kind of connect and get to know what they do and what they specialize in, and also even advise them on which direction to take. Hey, you would do better, by the way, if you add this and that on your thing. So it's a mutual benefit in a way. I don't just come in to 20 minutes and I'm out. I get to sit with the owners of the place, get to meet the other locals. So most of my gigs come from that extra hour that I spent at the venue. And then people say, hey, how can we get you? And then we exchange numbers.
It's investing in community.
Yeah. And it's not even...
Immersing.
I like that. I enjoy... As much as like I'm a bit shy, but I enjoy just hanging out with people, just hearing what they have to think. And then it's never like prioritizing business first and thinking, yeah, I want to get something out of this. No, it's just meeting people and they say, how? Hey, someone so-and-so is getting married. Do you think you can MC that for us? Yeah.
Okay. So just take it as it comes.
As it comes. Like even... There's a lot of other radio DJs who are on radio today because they bumped into me. And we exchanged numbers and I helped them do demos even from my own studio for free. I'm like, hey, I would love to do this. Really? Okay, what are you doing? Hey, I just graduated, blah, 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 blah. But I love it. I'm like, come through. Just come and do a demo there. I'll guide you. And then next thing, boom, they're in.
And that immersion that you were talking about when you would go to a gig and you stay an extra hour and stuff, did you notice any feedback like were you taking feedback from anyone?
I was also taking feedback even for the radio show. So I knew what they liked and what they didn't like. Mostly what they liked, because people like to, when they see you, they talk about what they like. And then you get to know what to keep and not keep doing or improving on.
Because that's the one thing that would be difficult in a broadcast medium like radio, where it's this feedback loops. So and a way to compensate that would be immersing yourself in, like you did, and getting feedback from people. Oh, you like this? Okay, maybe I can slot that in. And then, how did you tell what was working? You said you shifted things around quite a lot. Was it just intuition, and then you gut feel, and to keep it?
I think it was from intuition. Just I feel like this works because every radio station that I kind of worked for, I was also a right age as a listener. I would be a target market myself. So when I was with Gagasi, which is more youthful, I was in my youth. So I knew what I wanted to hear on radio. So I would bring that. Just bring that. I think that worked in to my advantage as well. So now I'm at the more matured radio station, which is, it's not hard for me to come up with topics or what needs to be done because they are typical listener.
Yeah, it's very interesting. You self-proclaimed shy guy, you said. I've heard you say before. You're a shy guy?
No.
You're not shy?
Oh, you're saying shy?
Shy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think so. But I get over it after a few minutes. So whenever, I'm not like forward, but I warm up to people in a few minutes. So I can't just be all over the place.
Okay, so you're not extroverted necessarily, but you can...
Yeah. I do have inside me, there is that thing that, I have to talk now to people. But I get over it in seconds and I end up staying longer than I had intended.
Nice.
That's awesome.
But before I do it, I do get nervous. Like,
Okay.
Now I have to go and do this. Like with the podcast, I've never done a podcast before as a guest because my thing is always like, oh my God, what am I going to say about myself,
And how do you get over that?
I don't know. You guys, who's the other guy kept calling me about it?
Yeah, no, in general. So how do you get out of it? Yeah.
I don't know. I just switch into that mode.
You just jump off the cliff and...
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. And in that morning show, I think that morning show, so to share some insight from our side, like this is your episode, okay, on the Incredible Machines podcast. So I always feel a lot of pressure for me to like ask the right questions and to make sure you feel comfortable and that sort of stuff. So and if I think about it too much, it gets debilitating and stuff like that. But then I just go do it. So you jump off the cliff and build a plan on the way down. But that morning show that you had 1.2 million,
yeah.
And then you've been on bigger, like you said, the national and that sort of stuff, 7 million listeners. There is a lot of responsibility like that you have because you play a bad track, even maybe a bad track. Or you say something that's wrong or incorrect, and you can potentially ruin someone's day. Did you ever feel like that pressure?
Yeah. There is, I think, but with experience, you get to know where to draw the line. You need to be informative. You need to bring a bit of yourself, which is your sense of humor. But what I've found that other people don't understand what sense of humor is. It's kind of forced, trying to make people laugh. And then that's where you go wrong. That's where you say things you're not supposed to say. And also just being sensitive to certain issues. Yeah. I think like it's not that I'm always careful, but I'm true to who I am. And this is what I can do. This is the issue I can handle in this way. I'm not trying to be a shock jock, sensational.
Okay.
No.
You're just doing it for yourself. You play the music that you would want to listen to, the topics you talk about. How much of it is your that you want to do, and how much is by the show manager or whoever?
Yeah, there is a music compiler at the station, so that the station can have a stationality. So we have someone who's responsible for music or music committee, whatever. So they choose what music, so that hey, this is East Coast, this is Gagasi, without even looking at the frequency. So the music differentiates you from this and that. And you can tell a confused station, like, hey, what's going on at 5 FM now?
Shots fired. Yeah.
That kind of thing, stationality. I think there are stations that have done very well with that. Like East Coast, you can tell without looking. Just by passing, that's East Coast. Like the song that you hear. So that's why we have music compilers. So I'm not even worried about music. Like I just go and have fun. My responsibility is to do the radio links, the radio show prep on what's happening today. Working with my team, I have a content producer and technical producer. So we meet up weekly to discuss what we're going to do the following week. And then during that week, then we add what's current. Okay. So the show is already prepped for the whole week. So that's my way of doing it. For the whole of next week is done. So daily, we just look at what's happening today. And then there are spaces that we've left for current things.
So you'd have to predict. You're going to have to predict a fair bit, and then work on what's happened. Yeah. So Pirates did whatever, and we're going to be talking about that even. Yeah. Just what sort of advice would you give to somebody starting off in radio now? How, like, as you just went camped out and did it, how would someone wanting to enter the market now
if
do it?
I was to be in that position where I'm looking to get into radio, I would definitely use social media. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Make it clear that I want to be on radio. Do my show from there. YouTube channel. I would definitely go online and just do my show from there until someone notices me.
Okay, so do it yourself.
Do it, yeah. Like, you don't need expensive gadgets. That phone that you have, with a good phone, let's go. And your social media talks exactly what you're doing. Let it not be like all over the place. Today you're swearing, tomorrow you're a nice guy. But I'll use social media.
So consistency, and then you'd have to have the baseline knowledge of what, like, because you speaking from experience, like you've worked with shows and the different managers and how they work and the prep and that sort of stuff. So people need to have that baseline of what they're going to talk about, what hour they're going to feature, or how long they're going to speak for in the morning or in the afternoon, and then just go do it, because they have one of the beautiful things is that we live in this world where, like, there's this technology that can just broadcast you.
Yes.
There's pros and cons. There's lots of pros and cons to that, because then it means a lot of noise. But if you can fine tune signal, and then you can work on it. Like, what is your? It sounded like you said you've always got a structure. That and then you slot in per. So there are variables within the structure, but you've got it planned out. And you've had that learned from somebody, I imagine, that was in radio before. Like when you came to the Durban youth, the people that you worked with weren't just they received a phone and they know, they gave you those tips. And then, so that's the biggest change I think you said. I wanted to see for the future, what do you think are the next changes? What's coming?
What's coming is radio is still going to be here for a long while, but I think radio stations need to invest more on digital. The common word we use is social media. You need to have that online presence. You need to diversify. You need to also treat digital as one of your entities, in terms of you need to have a program that is just meant for that, not to only take what was happening on air and putting it on YouTube. YouTube is a different animal, so you treat it like such. So you dedicate a team. I think those who will invest in digital first will be able to reap the rewards. That's where the future is. You need to invest in teams that will do the work, the equipment. So don't just say, hey, why are you guys not active on social media, without actually helping the guys understand why they should be there and how to do it. Because it's not just anyone who can just put a phone on their face and talk. But you learn these things, how to do it. You have to know how to create content. It doesn't mean just because I'm on radio and I create radio content and I can switch easily and do social media content. But with training and bit of encouragement, we all can be there. But we need to be there.
And practice, I imagine too. The in terms of the visual aspect that like a YouTube is added, and we're seeing it in podcasts a lot more people, because this is an audio first medium, but it's very visual at the moment. People are using it, and we use it for marketing purposes and that sort of stuff. We see it as an amazing thing to do. I think, and it's, what is it? There's a category that's been added to one of the awards. Which awards?
It's the Golden Globes.
Golden Globes have added a best production, I think it is, or something around that.
Best podcast.
Best podcast. Yeah. I think they've scrapped the best production, but so it is becoming more visual, and people take a while to accept that, but eventually they're going to get it. Did you get a lot of any inspiration, any input from international radio DJs and what they were doing? And
yes. I think the first one for me, who I got an inspiration from, that, hey, something big is happening, was Ryan Seacrest. I don't know if you remember him.
Yeah.
He had shows on every radio station out there. Like, he was everywhere. He was on TV. He was on radio, not only one station. I think even 94.7 at some time he had a show there. So that's when I saw there was something happening. I liked how they worked. You could see it was a teamwork with Ryan and, of course, Howard Stern. I'm a big fan of Howard Stern and how he did things. And, yeah.
That's the thing that gets it. You got to remember that people are listening. So when we get to your ad that you've picked, I love it because it works for many reasons, but also it works in audio too, because not everyone's going to and everyone's going to see this. Some people are going to hear this. So we'll get to that ad next. But just the visual aspect. How are you, or how do you see us capitalizing on that, or what's the best way to really think about that? Because again, primary, it's like when we developed for the internet as an agency. I've worked on different digital projects, and we generally in Africa we work on mobile first. So we worry about like what mobile is looking like, because most of our users or the population are on the phone, and they've got to access this thing through the phone first. So in podcasts and in audio and in radio and that sort of stuff, it's audio first, but then it needs to look good because there's a visual aspect now, and we can have that broadcast. So is there a trick to thinking about it, or something you're working with at all?
I think that's the aspect I need to bring in, which is visual more, because that's where it's at. People actually like to put the voice to the face, vice versa. And there's a big audience that just enjoys podcasts as well. And I think the next level is now the quality of podcast or visual podcast needs to improve. I have my own opinions about KZN podcast, Gauteng podcast, Cape Town podcast. You can easily tell just from looking at them. There's a trend in KZN where everyone is putting a banner behind them, over branding. That thing looks horrible, by the way. I don't know, maybe just for me.
I agree.
We just
I had to say it.
Like, people just put a banner behind them. What is it? Why? Why is it there? I think maybe when podcasts started, people had banners and people are still hanging on those. Now, I like what I'm seeing here. That's the future of how everything should look. It should be relatable, relaxed. It shouldn't be like, oh, these people are working. Hey, look at the banner. I don't know. I just hate banners. So that's why I'm saying I've seen a difference between KZN, Gauteng. It's the same thing international as well. It's just that other cities catch up quicker than other ones. Like the international standard is there. You see it. It's the grading of the videos. They look just perfect. Everything looks warm. The studio looks a certain way. That's why you should be playing it. Don't start at the bottom. No, it's too late now. Let's do like Team Africa here.
Well, thanks. So just in terms of you could probably have many podcasts actually come out of your stable and all of your learnings. What would you do that you could just do every day? Like, what would you talk about every day?
If I did a podcast, it would be family orientated podcasts. I think in my language, there's a lack of that. And also, I don't like doing things that I'm not familiar with. I am a proud family man, and I know what it takes to do what. I've had challenges myself raising kids, So that's what I would focus on.
And who would you bring on as a guest? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll bring in from your psychologist because I think there's a lot of baggage that we're carrying as people. There's a lot of things that are playing out there and not supposed to. Like I usually see people breaking up and families ending, and I'm like, ish, this could have been resolved by a simple psychologist or going for counseling. There are people who still don't want counseling. I think a podcast can play that role in convincing people, hey, you are not who you think you are. A lot of your past is playing in your present and is ruining it. Like you might actually end up losing your family just because you're stubborn. This is the way it's always been done, And when there's that union, Bambisana, you work together to. I used to think that people break up because of cheating. Only that now I'm married for 10 years that it's actually just not listening to each other and lack of freedom. Like I want to stop you from doing who you are. I want to change you, all that. And that can be sorted out by a few sessions with a psychologist, for lack of a better word.
We've got a bit of a show developing here.
Yeah, I mean, and then you're democratizing that episode or that learnings with the psychologist. Because what you said now is just really interesting how I love communications. That's why I studied it and why I'm involved in it. But I believe one of the reasons why I love it is because I believe it can sort out almost any problem.
Yes, actually.
Is correct communications. You made me think of this as a bit of a joke, but men, I don't know how true it is actually, but it's that debatable. But the men, women marry men hoping to change them, and men marry women hoping they'll never change. But yeah, that comes. But and so you'd have psychologists, and
I would have psychologists, pastors. I think I've done a trial. There's traditional side of things, spiritual, because there's like when you're starting a family, hey, there's a lot that you need to go through. If you want to have a functional family, you can't there's no manual. You learn by listening from other people. There will be problems from day one. Straight after dating, that thing changes. It's no longer the same thing. Once there's 2 kids now that are here, and maybe your wife feels like she's trapped. Her career is not moving. You are out there DJing and having a good time. It looks like you're having a good time. And if you were raised as a man, no, a man must only provide, then there's gonna be clashes here. because of what you believed in what actually happens. Pre-counseling, before marriage. And yeah, I'm really worried by the rate of divorce mostly in our communities. It's very high. Like you could get stats now, like it's ridiculous. People get married for 2 months and they're out. It's giving a bad rap to a good thing.
Yeah, and there's two things that you touch on there, but because you said a pastor, so you haven't spoken about your faith or anything, are you?
No, I'm not that religious.
Okay, but you believe it's important enough to have on a podcast,
yes,
though.
It is important. So you would have. There are very good pastors in terms of who speak sense in who are known who are popular ones who have great content. When
great advice.
Yeah, great advice. Yeah,
learnings you can learn from them. Okay, and then the other one. We're going to get to this Kulula just before we get there. Yeah, we're going to get to this Kulula ad, but just to finish up, because I think it's a great idea to have a podcast because you'd be able to democratize those learnings, and it sounds like something you're passionate about, and you're not happy with the current state of affairs affairs in terms of or the numbers in terms of divorce and that sort of thing, and that. The thing is that I heard you say or allude to the change. So, and we've just had this law passed now that with the names, the last name can be taken. You know that apparently it had to be passed as a law. And people were joking about how does Lobola work now, and that sort of thing. But the change is real. Like the change is real. There's more women stepping up, and the family doesn't succeed unless somebody's looking after the kids. And now it's not necessary to be the man 100%, but that's difficult because it's always been our role. So that's the change. So just dealing with that and understanding, like, listen, you got to figure out, what your place is.
Yeah, moving with times, I get you. So that's all the type of content we'll do. Just being on... just being aware of what's happening and taking real issues, real stats of what is being spoken about at that time and bringing it on a podcast. Okay, let's discuss this. There's something that came up, the same thing, the importance of it.
The thing, and I don't want to, we've talked about this before on a podcast, so probably on an episode. I won't labor it too long, but I love the learnings that you can get from introducing different cultural aspects too. So for instance, one of the things I learned fairly recently, I'm not proud of it because I should have probably known, living in KwaZulu-Natal, I should have known this, but it ties in with the women stepping up and taking an ownership role and succeeding in professional life, and also they've always had an ownership role in that, but being more successful professionally. And something that I learned was that I don't know if it's in Zulu culture, but you can correct me here if it's just a broader sense, but the male will open the door and will walk in the door first into a room. So European, Western culture, I guess, we always taught that you open the door and you let the lady go in first. That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
But actually, like on reviewing it, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to ever let somebody go into a room that hasn't been scouted yet. Like it never makes sense. You can once you're in, then you can stand by the door and that's sort of to me becomes a metaphor for the place of men in some instances. Sometimes you just have to hold the door. You still have to clear the room. You still have a role.
Yeah.
But the woman has to be she has to come through the door and she has to be safe and that sort of stuff. And that's all your role is, and that's good. That's fine.
She needs to understand why you're doing it as well. Because I think that's one of the things we don't communicate. I like that one, but okay, if I can see if it's safe. But my way of doing it, I think is more westernized. I'm always a step behind. my lady is, I open and then she comes in and I'm there. You know, I'm always like protecting from here, and then I can see everything that's coming ahead.
Yeah.
But I guess like there are things that we don't explain, and then we expect other people to just understand them, why it's happening.
But also just to understand the internet world we live in, and how it democratizes information like that. So people like it, that makes more sense. It always makes more sense,
Yeah, it
because
makes sense.
it's in any place. You can still be behind, but once you've cleared,
Yeah.
and then you stand and you open. But anyway, this is not. I haven't done a great segue into the ad, but the ad is a classic. What made you choose this ad, actually, the Kalula?
Okay, the reason why I chose this ad, it's simple, straightforward. The message, I think it stood a chance to be received well by people and understand it at first time they see it. So the advert jet setter is for their reward system, and they chose this young lady to be a stalker. And imagine having so much rewards that you wouldn't know what to do with them. You could even use them to stalk someone. And the star on the thing is Lois, but they're not showing a lot of him. He only appears once. And the message, I like how they balance the two, because the star now of the advert is this young lady who's a stalker, who's just a general person, public like me and you.
Okay, we'll play that ad now.
I really love my music. I'm such a big fan. Some people call me a groupie, but I just love one man. I'm a jet setter. Jet setter. Yes, I'm a jet setter. I follow Louis, so wherever he may go. I always wear nice panties, so I have something to throw. I'm a jet setter. Jet setter. I fly Kalila from Nigeria. Louis so thinks I'm a stalker. I have to keep my distance, cause it's taken out a restraining order. Jet setter.
With a whole bunch of new flights to and from Lanseria Airport, Kalula is still the easiest way to fly.
Yeah, the listeners wouldn't be able to see that little hiccup that she gives when she says the restraining order. It's like a little quirk. Very good. She's a great actress, actually.
She is.
So this is I remember this one, but also because I was fortunate enough to do my honors at Vega, and I did this is my brand challenge. We got given Kalula. And Kalula was struggling against mango and predominantly mango, because mango was always subsidized by our taxes, as far as I understood and as they explained. So just giving the information so that they not necessarily. I don't know if they ever made a profit, mango, but Kalula was very much for profit and needed to act accordingly. So they didn't want to be cheap; they wanted to be low cost airlines, and they wanted to. I think they wanted to create experiences, and I think that ad does that quite nicely with the rewards and experience of being rewarded and that whole the whole emotions going on there. But it was it was a very interesting challenge that we did, and I really loved the brand. One of the experiences I can remember, and I still quote this from time to time, and I think it's taken from like South by or one of the American airlines. But I can definitely remember an air hostess, or it was a male, and he said, practicing the brace position, the brace position, and he said, you put your head between your legs so you can kiss your ass goodbye. And it was that sort of remarkable.
Yeah.
So you would talk about, I'm still talking about that. So that being remarkable, and they wrote their own lines sometimes, they wrote their own jokes, and I really enjoyed that airline altogether. But yeah, that ad was a classic. It is a classic.
One of the classics. I think it's very interesting, because like the role that ads have played in my life. The first time I learned a Sotho word, I was still at home when I was young, was from a an advert. And I used to use that phrase. There was an ad. I think it was for Culling Black Label. It said "Tswela pili," which means keep going or something like that. Qhubeka njalo in Zulu. So there will be a Zulu one. Qhubeka njalo, like keep walking. And then the Sotho one, "Tswela pili." I was like, oh, "Tswela pili, qhubeka njalo." Oh, "Tswela pili" means go ahead, or it means qhubeka njalo in Zulu. I'm just saying that's what ads used to do for me. I used to enjoy ads more than hate them, even on radio. But I like how they've also changed, because most of our ads back then, people were just singing. But I know it drilled in the message. But there was a time where we've had enough of extra strong.
Yeah, the jingle era, jingle era, and then there's the one-liner era. I think there's but yeah, I think instead of going away, I would love it if it came back, but just slowly, like in moderation, huh?
Even like that Kulula.com has a bit of, there is a role for music or something that is sung in a jingle. Like Kula.
Yeah.
Because you remember that all the time. It sticks into your mind. That's the
Audio
whole
signatures.
purpose.
Audio signatures.
Yeah.
Music and audio's got a huge impact in your subconscious as well.
It does.
Yeah,
It does.
big time.
Because you never forget it. Yeah.
Sure. Cool. And then I love this quote. So, and it's one of our incredible machines we talk about often, but it always seems impossible until it's done.
Nelson Mandela. Yeah. I think it also goes to talk about my character as well, because I don't mind trying new things. Every day, I get an idea in my head. I try that. There are things that I do without even a purpose of achieving it to a certain level, just to understand how it's done. Like, talking about podcast. When the podcast thing came, I needed to understand what happens behind the scenes for me. And then I built my own studio at home, just something small, just a camera, cheap lighting from Temu. And we rocked and rolled with my wife. We did a podcast for we had a few episodes. It wasn't really to be the biggest podcaster in SA. It was just to understand the whole process, the production, how many people you need to have this thing successful. As much as I was doing everything myself, from recording, I would also get assistance from other friends. There's a guy from work who'd come and assist me with the camera, or help with me with editing, just some friends around. But it was mainly just for me to understand what goes behind making a podcast. And then once I achieved and I got to understand the monetization of podcasts on YouTube and then I think I had like all the information I wanted, and I was like, okay, now I'm ready to go big time if I ever go do a podcast again, because now I know the whole process, what is needed, the challenges, and blah blah blah, from start to finish.
Okay. Yeah, I love that you just dive into things, and it does sound like how you lived your life. That's what I love. People choose their quote, or they choose their ad, or they choose that, and they don't necessarily realize that it's emblematic or symbolic. It's something. It's echoed in their.
Symbolizes your life.
Yeah, so it symbolizes their your life, the story you just told us. You just everyone at home was telling you it was impossible to be a DJ. And you said, okay, I'm just going to do it.
Even now, I still find people saying, no, this can't happen. And I'm like, no, come on. Let's try at least. Let's fail along the way. But not to start at all. That's what causes anxiety. Because now I have this vision that I have in mind, and maybe there's someone stopping me from doing it. But I've given myself permission to do whatever I want to do, to try and fail. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with failing, guys. I don't care. As long as I satisfy that inner child in me or that voice that is speaking to me that go and try that, I go and try it. I don't mind. Not would say it doesn't get to a certain level that other people expect, but at least I gain experience from doing it. Like one of the things that I would like at some point to get into is radio programming, to be a programs manager for a radio station. I want to be able to sit down with talent and not only talk about on-air radio, and also talk about all the things that complement being a brand. So all my failures that I'm facing now will be someone else's success someday. Someone will sit down with me and get guided the right way, because I've kind of walked the route myself.
That sounds like another podcast, just saying. But in terms of one of the questions from the thing, who are your incredible machines?
Incredible machines. I would like to give credit to all the women out there, guys. I think women play a very big role and they don't get recognized for it, or we don't get to clap for them. Like, particularly, I think my wife is a machine. Just she keeps the house together. She's given me a family. I have a family now because of her. And there's something that I've noted with women, that if there is 1,000 rands or whatever you put in their hand multiplies. Well, not with everyone, but the most that I've met, from my mother to the wife, to the woman I married, they just have a way to make things multiply. Actually, most of my station managers have been women. Like Gagasi, I had a female being the MD. We achieved big success with her. At Ukozi, when I went there was a woman at the top. Now at Gagasi, at Vuma, there's a lady who's our MD. So I'm saying I've worked very well with women, and those are the real incredible machines who still go back at home and be expected to do things. That's why they need our support all the way.
Sure. Okay, I love it. And is there anything I haven't asked you that I should have?
No, not really.
Anything you want to close with? Maybe to close, I am a KZN person first before the world. I love this province. That's how I haven't really left to work in other provinces. There is so much potential in KZN if we all could work together. We need more head offices in Durban. We need decisions to be made here, and not everything to be delayed, so that we can be on par with the rest of Africa and the world. Okay. Well, let's make it happen. Let's make it happen, people. Stop sitting with power in your hands and not utilize it. Let's go. Let us rebuild this province. Perfect. Entertainment industry needs to be awake again. COVID is gone. Yeah. Let's have a good time. Cool. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for inviting me. Perfect. Incredible. Mzokhona Gumede.